What's up guys, it is I, once again, Yusuf Al Sanad, and welcome to another episode of the Movie Monday series created by Emily Boone. Please do check her channel out. She's a really awesome YouTuber and one I'm very proud to call my friend, my dear beloved friend. And for this week's episode of the Movie Monday series, yours truly will be sharing with you guys and gals top 5 characters' tragic ends in movies and television. 5 characters who yours truly loves, one of who others may not. These are their deaths, their tragic deaths, and how their deaths had broken the heart of yours truly. And these 5 characters, guys and gals, whether you love them, some of them you might love, others you might not, one of who, once again, you might hate. These are the 5 characters who yours truly loves and their tragic ends, which was very heartbreaking. And just like the previous episodes of the Movie Monday series, I'll be ranking these movies/TV episodes based on a ranking system from number 5 to number 1, and here's how the list goes. At number 5, we have Amber Volakis, who was played so well by Anne Dudek in the TV series which yours truly loves so much on the Fox network, House MD. In the final 2 episodes of her story and her tragic end, which broke the heart of Wilson, Dr. James Evan Wilson, the best friend and partner, pseudo-partner of House MD, Gregory House himself, in the season 4 finale, the 2-part season 4 finale, House's head and Wilson's heart. Amber Volakis was not loved by her peers, especially by those closest to House and those who have been chosen by House to work under him. Amber Volakis was known as someone to be a cutthroat bitch, as they called her, which is a name yours truly does not like, especially when it comes to Amber Volakis, because Amber Volakis, like most people, is flawed but still human and still someone who does have heart, and yours truly does love people in movies and TV shows, characters who others might not like, but yours truly does love them because they are human and still very much like us. They have the same heart, the same mind, and Amber Volakis is a very tragic character. And this 2-part season finale of season 4 was very heartbreaking, especially for Dr. James Evan Wilson, because Dr. Wilson loved her so much and was essentially her boyfriend, her soon-to-be husband, until her timely death, her tragic timely death, which was the result of these medications she was taking. And because of these medications, she was poisoned. There was poison in her system, which eventually led to her death, her tragic death. And this broke Wilson's heart so much, hence the title, Wilson's Heart. And my heart was broken for Wilson, but not as much as his heart was broken for Amber, his beloved Amber, and her death. And this episode, guys and gals, this 2-part episode of the season 4 finale really did broke me down. I was crying so much, almost more than Amber and Wilson combined. Their emotions, their feelings for each other, and their love, despite how others might feel about her, and shame on them if they hate her, is very sweet, very tender, and essentially very heartbreaking. And this episode, this 2-part episode of the season 4 finale, guys and gals, was so beautiful yet so heartbreaking, and something yours truly will never forget. At number 4, we have Viserion, one of the 3 babies, the 3 dragon babies of Daenerys Targaryen from HBO's Game of Thrones, also known as A Song of Ice and Fire. Viserion was one of the 3 babies of Daenerys Targaryen, who was very much her child, as was Drogon and the other dragon baby, whose name yours truly has forgotten, but all 3 dragons mean the world to her. To Daenerys Targaryen, Misa, the mother of dragons, she was their mother, their world, and their life. Viserion's death in the season 7 episode of Game of Thrones, episode 6, Beyond the Wall, was so heartbreaking and so sad, because Daenerys Targaryen, alongside Viserion, the other dragon, whose name once again yours truly cannot remember, and of course the eldest of them, the eldest of the 3 dragons, Drogon, all came to the rescue of Jon Snow and his company against an army of the White Walkers who are being led by their leader, their king, the Night King himself, and while Daenerys Targaryen, alongside her 3 babies, were fending off the White Walkers, the Night King had thrown the spear, an ice spear which was made for him, at Viserion, and because of the wound inflicted on Viserion, it had killed him. And since the finale of Game of Thrones Season 1, when Viserion and his 2 brothers were born, thus was born the Mother of Dragons, Daenerys Targaryen, all the way to Season 7, Episode 6, Beyond the Wall of Game of Thrones, HBO's Game of Thrones, we had reached the tragic death of Viserion, one of the 3 babies of Daenerys Targaryen, who was essentially their mother, their beloved mother, and the Night King had taken her baby from her, taken away Viserion, her beloved baby, and because of this death, guys and gals, it broke both Jon Snow and of course Daenerys Targaryen. How could it not? Which Jon Snow had regretted deeply, because Jon Snow regrets ever coming to her, because had he not come to her, her baby, her beloved Viserion, would not have been killed by the Night King, and she would have not lost her baby. But Daenerys Targaryen, guys and gals, what makes the scene so beautiful between she and Jon Snow is the fact that she does not regret him coming to her, or Daenerys Targaryen meeting him for the first time, the famous Jon Snow, because Daenerys Targaryen had not believed in the White Walkers or the Night King, believing them to be a myth until she saw them for herself, and because of this, she does not regret Jon Snow coming to her and her witnessing the existence of the White Walkers and their leader, the Night King, even though it did result in the death of her baby, because right now Jon Snow and Daenerys Targaryen have joined forces and are ready to battle the Night King and the White Walkers, and to make sure that Viserion's death was not in vain, and to make sure the Night King and the White Walkers pay in blood, so Viserion's death will not be in vain, God forbid. And Viserion, guys and gals, was her baby, her beloved child, very much like we are the beloved children of our mothers, and the Mother of Dragons, guys and gals, will have her revenge for her baby, for her beloved Viserion. I promise you that. At number 3, we have Ellen Ferguson from AMC's Hell on Wheels Season 4, Episode 6, or whatever the number of the episode is for AMC's Hell on Wheels Season 4. Ellen Ferguson is the title of this episode because this episode, guys and gals, is entirely dedicated to Ellen Ferguson, the best friend, brother, and partner of Colin Bohannon, the main protagonist of AMC's Hell on Wheels. Colin Bohannon and Ellen Ferguson had a very complicated relationship. They first started off as would-be partners until eventually they grew to become friends, partners, and real brothers who did look out for each other. And these 2 guys and gals were very tight until in this episode, Ellen Ferguson has become mad after being attacked by a bear, a grizzly bear, which somehow he survived. He survived the fight, very much like Leo DiCaprio from Alejandro Gonzalez Inarritu's 2015 film, The Revenant, which is a really good film, guys and gals. And Leo DiCaprio plays Hugh Glass in that movie, and his encounter with the bear, in which he fought against the bear after the bear attacked him and survived to tell the tale, was so inspiring and so awesome, very much like Ellen Ferguson, only Ellen Ferguson has become mad because of his encounter with the bear, and Ellen Ferguson was treated by these natives, the Native Americans, who Ellen Ferguson had spent some time with, a few months actually. Ellen Ferguson has become very deluded and very insane. He transforms from Ellen Ferguson to becoming Bear Killer or Bear Hunter, whatever his name was, which the natives have given him. And upon his return to his friend Colin Bohannon and his beloved wife Eva, who was the wife of Ellen Ferguson, who had given away their baby to some stranger, her brother actually, from Ireland, because she believes that both she and Ellen are not fit to raise a baby, much less a baby who's white, because Ellen Ferguson was black, and during this time black people were still seen as vermins, as diseases who the white people did not care for, which added to the conflict of Ellen Ferguson being black and being someone who had a white baby with a white woman who was branded by the natives because she had this brand on her chin which was given to her by the natives she was taken to and was raised by, and she adopted their culture, their beliefs, until she went on to become a prostitute in this brothel and since then she has met Elam, who has become her man, and she had stopped sleeping with other men and had married Elam Ferguson, who has since become her husband, her man, and the father of her now gone baby, their beloved daughter. But Elam Ferguson is too far gone now, and there's no coming back for him. The man she once knew, the man Eva once knew, her beloved husband, had died the moment he fought against the bear and the moment he survived against the bear, because the man who survived was not her husband. And what's so tragic about Elam Ferguson's death is that Cullen Bohannon was the one who shot him. He was the one who pulled the trigger on Elam's head, even though he tried hard to convince him not to do this, not to become the madman he's become, the madman who survived against the bear, thus becoming bear killer. He wants him to know who he is, to know that he has a wife, he has a brother in him, and that he is Elam Ferguson, not bear killer, Elam Ferguson. But Elam Ferguson, guys and gals, is way too far gone now. So Cullen Bohannon showed mercy to him by killing him and putting him out of his misery, thus ending his life, his tragic life, being a black man in a white world who died twice, once by a bear and once by his brother, his best friend, his partner. He was the one who shot him. It was Cullen Bohannon who shot his brother, his best friend, Elam Ferguson, right in front of Eva, who was so shocked and so distraught by seeing her man die once again right in front of her. What's even more tragic about his death, guys and gals, is that Eva blames Cullen Bohannon. She tells him right after he shoots Elam Ferguson, he went after you. Eva tells Cullen Bohannon twice, he went after you, because Cullen Bohannon had been gone for such a long time, and Elam Ferguson chose to go after him, to find him, and to bring him back home, which resulted in his death at the hands of a bear. That's the first death. The second death was at the hands of his brother, his best friend, Cullen Bohannon. So all of this, guys and gals, was not just tragic for Elam Ferguson or for Eva, but for Cullen Bohannon, because Cullen Bohannon blames himself very much like how Eva blames Cullen, and the fact that it's because of him Elam Ferguson, her beloved man, died, and she blames him and damns him to hell. All of this was so tragic, guys and gals. It was so heartbreaking and so emotional. I was breaking down in tears, very much like Cullen Bohannon, because he blames himself. He blames himself the way Eva does, and had Cullen Bohannon not left, Elam Ferguson would not have died, which would have saved him, and Eva would still have her man, her beloved Elam Ferguson. And because of this, guys and gals, she was broken. Elam Ferguson's death, guys and gals, was so heartbreaking and so emotional for me personally, and was a huge turning point for both Cullen Bohannon and Eva, because both of them set out to make their lives, to start their journey as a result of Elam Ferguson's death. And his death, guys and gals, once again was so heartbreaking. But Elam Ferguson will not be forgotten, not by his wife Eva, not by his brother Cullen Bohannon, or by those whose heart he's touched, because Elam Ferguson was a brave man who died fighting for what he believed in, and had died a hero in my eyes and in their eyes. Not the man who became bear killer, but the man whose name was Elam Ferguson, my love, my hero. At number 2, we have Elizabeth Clayton, also known as Lizzie, from the 2016 release coming of age / fantasy drama A Monster Calls. A Monster Calls, guys and gals, was such a beautiful, heartwarming movie which yours truly loves to death for many reasons, but the main reasons being the relationship between both Connor O'Malley, the little boy and protagonist of the movie A Monster Calls, and his beloved mother, Elizabeth Clayton, also known as Lizzie, and their mutual friendship with the monster, the creature himself, which was so beautiful and so heartwarming, guys and gals, because Elizabeth Clayton, Lizzie, and Connor O'Malley had a similar friendship with the creature, the monster, and both of them had their lives changed because of their encounter with the monster, since both of them were very lonely growing up and had no friends but the creature and each other, mother and son. And their relationship, guys and gals, really stole my heart and broke my heart at the same time because of of the death of Elizabeth Clayton, Lizzie, the mother of Connor O'Malley, and because of her death, guys and gals, Connor had to learn to move on and to not blame himself for her death because it was no one's fault, much less his fault. Connor O'Malley has to understand that it is not his fault, nor it is the fault of his mother for leaving him and her dying, because life, guys and gals, is so unfair, it's so cruel, but life can also be beautiful, and there are good parts in this world, good parts which you have to find and hold on to. Elizabeth Clayton, Lizzie, teaches her son, Connor O'Malley, that he must hold on to the good parts, and if he does feel angry, if he does feel like breaking something, then by God, you break it, you cry and break some more stuff until you feel happy once again. And when you do, always find the good parts that makes you most happy. Connor O'Malley learns this from both his mother, Elizabeth Clayton, and the creature, the monster himself, their mutual friend. Connor O'Malley, like most of us, has to learn to grow up and to accept the fact that people die, good people. It's not fair, it sucks to be honest, but you are good and you are not to blame for their death. It's not on you, because life can be cruel, but life can also be beautiful and have so many good. Life can have good parts which you must hold on to and forget all the bad things that happened to you, very much like the bad thing which happened to Connor O'Malley was the death of his mother, which once again, guys and gals, was not his fault. It was no one's fault. Connor O'Malley learns this by the end and learns to move on with his life and learns to accept the fact that people die, people he loves most, and to know that his mother, the creature, both of them love him and will forever be there for him, very much like how he was there for her. The creature was there for his mother. Elizabeth Clayton, Lizzie, was such a beautiful, strong character who was played so well by Felicity Jones. Felicity Jones, who yours truly loves so much and has a huge crush on. And this movie, guys and gals, A Monster's Call, yours truly does recommend you watch it because the story is so beautiful, and the relationship between both Connor O'Malley and his mother and their friendship with the creature, the monster, was so beautiful and so heartwarming. Despite how heartbreaking the story can be, this story, guys and gals, is not one to miss. And finally, guys and gals, at number 1 we have Maggie Vogel from the 2015 release post-apocalyptic drama Maggie. This movie, guys and gals, was so beautiful, so heartbreaking, yet so heartwarming at the same time because of the bond between both Maggie Vogel, and her beloved father, Wade Vogel, who's played so well by Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Abigail Breslin are so great as their characters, their respective characters, Maggie and Wade. These two, guys and gals, are the best parts in this movie, and their relationship as father and daughter was so beautiful and so heartwarming, and something yours truly can relate to, because yours truly does want to be a father someday, a father to many little angels, his beloved princesses, who would see their daddy as their Superman, their hero, who can protect them and love them for all times. Yours truly does want to have daughters someday, many daughters who he can love and protect, and this story, guys and gals, about the father and daughter relationship between Wade and Maggie Vogel was so beautiful and so awesome to watch, guys and gals. Maggie tells the story of this young girl, Maggie Vogel, who once again is played so well by Abigail Breslin, and she is slowly turning into a zombie. This story, the story of Maggie Vogel, is not so much tragic because of her death, even though her death is sad. It's more about the inevitability of her death and the fact that she has to be killed by her father or sent to the quarantine zone in which the zombies are killed. It's very heartbreaking, guys and gals, and very sad to be honest, but Maggie has one of the most beautiful depictions of a father-daughter relationship which yours truly can relate to and love so much, and their bond, guys and gals, was so heartwarming and so tender and so sweet, and something yours truly will never forget, especially as someone who wants to be a father someday, a father to his princesses who will see their daddy as their hero, as their Superman. And this movie, guys and gals, I do highly recommend you guys and gals watch this movie. It's so beautiful, so heartwarming, so tender, and so amazing. This film, guys and gals, alongside A Monster's Call, is not one to miss. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. That was my top 5 characters' tragic ends in movies and television, or movies/television. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, subscribe if you wish, and do check out Emily Boone's channel, which I'll add the link to down below in the description box. box. And if you want to see more from me, then please do check out my gaming channel where I do Let's Play series, gaming content, and so much more. Until next time, peace out, take care, adios, amigos, au revoir, and sayonara.